Hello, everyone. My name is Sweta Regmi. I am streaming live from Canada. It is being streamed on our YouTube channel at Teach and Do, also my Facebook account and the LinkedIn Live. Today, I am bringing you the hot topic, vaccination status. Should you disclose during job search? If you want to disclose, how would you want to disclose it? Are you comfortable answering those questions on a resume, on LinkedIn profile, and also interview? I put the poll together just yesterday, I believe, and oh my God, 5,000, almost 5,000 people are voting on that. And you got to see those insights. It's amazing. And you know what I loved about that? Insights where everyone had a different perspective. And I respect every one of you for coming in and chiming on that poll. And if you have not looked at that poll, I really want you to take a look at it. If you're employers, also, if you're on that executive level where you're making a decision right now, talking about the vaccination status. Also, if you're job seekers and candidates looking out, what are people saying? What should matter? What should not matter? Now, I'd like to give full credit to Jack Kelly, who's the senior contributor writer for Forbes, who's invited a bunch of us, including me, just to take a look at the insights. What's going on? What are your thoughts? And I contributed on Forbes article recently, along with amazing coaches who's been doing this forever and helping out the job seekers. Take a look at the Forbes article. It's been on a LinkedIn. It's on my poll. And you will see there's no consensus among all of us, which is fantastic, right? Because you know what, if there's no right or wrong answers at all, and I'm going to quickly go through, probably screen share and then show you some comments, which are really, which makes you think. It's like a hot potato right now. Should we even talk about vaccination on LinkedIn? One of the persons said, well, listen, it's not a Facebook, it's LinkedIn. So you should not be talking about this at all. And my thing was, maybe the person is right, but why not? I was thinking, if you're looking, I'm posting for job seekers. Those are my clientele. I put the content for those job seekers, and they have very valid reason to actually know it. And it's all happening on LinkedIn, not on Facebook. Sorry, Facebook, but you know what? Candidates are being selected from LinkedIn all the time. Millions of people are getting hired. And in Canada, in Ontario and certain province, they've just rolled out the vaccination passport. Even my mom and dad, when they actually went to the festival, which is called Ribs Festival in Canada, 2 weeks ago or something, I was really shocked when they were asked to provide those vaccination card. I was like, oh my God, is this real? Even when you're traveling to non-essential market, there's the security people, they're asking you, are you vaccinated? So it's a normal conversation. Let's get it going. I would definitely want you to put your comments there and tell me, would you disclose if you're a job seeker right now and looking for that industry where maybe the vaccines are mandated? Would you disclose that earlier on before they even ask you? How would you use that as a strategy? There are a bunch of things that I'm going to talk about. And hey, this is the disclaimer. I am not an expert in health or vaccination or HR at all, or legality, technicality of vaccinations, overall processes. But what I can tell you this much is, let me start you by doing this. I respect every one of your insight. And this is what I'm going to have to tell you. Just the way that I said in article, you do you, all right? Whatever works for you. I don't know your situations. Maybe you really wanted to get back to that industry and, you have not been vaccinated yet. And a lot of people, and there's other comment that I wanted to talk about was what was really interesting was, just because they have not vaccinated themselves, that does not make them anti-vax, because they've never vaccinated themselves for flu shot either. And that was such a good comment. That's right. And we tend to look at, okay, well, you're not vaccinated, you must be the bad one because you're actually, spreading those all around, right? I'd like you to respect the firm belief whenever you're talking about it. Should we even talk about it, right? Should we even talk about it in the workplace? Should we even talk about it with our friends? I've been asked sometimes, hey, are you vaccinated? Do you want to meet up? And I was taken back. I was vaccinated, but I was like, what if I was not? What if I don't believe in vaccination, right? It's such a sensitive topic. And I'm going to talk about it for 10 minutes or so. Let me see who else has joined me in. Where are you joining me from? Share this video if you like it. Also, engage. And you know what? Let me see. Let me pull some of the comments here. If I have people talking about it, if they have any insight. So I can't see your profile, but it says if the company requires it, then you can disclose it. All right, that's good. So good comment. And she says, I don't think employers should compel anyone to disclose the same. I respect that. Absolutely. All right, so let's take a deeper dive into it. What I thought about this, I think the process begins from the job posting. I truly believe in that. So there are a lot of job posting right now. It's happening, and employers are saying, well, vaccinations are required, right? So that's where it begins. If you're very transparent on the process itself, people can self-select them and say, are they the right employer? Do I want to do that? Do I want to be part of this team at all? Do I want to be working there because they're actually asking me something that I'm not comfortable sharing it? It's none of their business kind of thing, right? And you gotta, as an employer, if you are mandating those, and I know it's going to come up later on, I would really respect that you actually put it on the job descriptions. Full disclaimer, vaccination proof required if selected, whatever it is, right? For those employers who are thinking of it, make it easy for candidates to disqualify themselves if they do not want to be part of it, because not everyone wants to provide those vaccination status and talk about it before they're even selected with the job offer, right? Make it part of the conditional offer, and just, if you want to, ask for proof later on, right? Because there might be some biases and discrimination for those people who have not vaccinated or who do not want to disclose it, right? So let's respect that. This message is for employer to be transparent. And why am I telling you this? In all the financial industry that I've worked with, majority of it, including when I was a hiring manager, I've hired many candidates. And, the fact that we did not disclose that we would be doing the credit check after the conditional offer, people did not know. There were a lot of newcomers in Canada. They had no credit score, nothing like that. And you know what? They were brilliant. They could do the job, but at last, because they did not have a credit score, or some of them in Canada, they had a bad credit score. They had filed for consumer proposal, bankruptcy, but they're building the credit. You know what? They were not able to do the job because the bank sector, financial sectors were never transparent in the job posting, saying that, hey, you know what? Should you get selected, we're going to be checking our CMP, police report. If you lived outside the country for 6 months or something, we're going to check all of it. You know what? Only apply if you feel like you are going to be, you can produce the documents, right? I think that helps. And I believe that that's where I'm going on with the route of being transparent on the job posting. Health sector, I know that a lot of the clients that I have, even if they are not dealing with the patient directly, let's say they're working in the IT sector, they're working into the data analyst sector, or whatever it is, they never have to even talk to the external client. There's a mandate from previous days that they were supposed to be fully vaccinated, and it was required as a part of the whole whole hiring process, right? For those people who are rethinking about it, I want you to do this. Start doing the research earlier in advance. Look at the job description. Start talking to the people, talent acquisition team, or people working there, or recruitment people who are trying to approach you, right? On initial stage, screen them out. Do what works for you. If that's something you're not comfortable talking about in initial stage without identifying the mutual fit, you have every right to strategically ask those questions. Can I ask you, what do you check if the person gets selected? When do you check it? At what time? Is it initial process that you talk about, like, police report, you talk about credit history, everything you want to iron it out, nip it in the bud earlier on before they come back and say, well, we need the proof of vaccination, and you're at limbo because you never thought that they would be asking you, right? So you have an option again to deselect yourself out from the interview process. Now, from the employer's point of view, that I wanted to chime in a bit as well. I'm not taking their side, or I'm not taking anyone's side. I'm staying very neutral because every industry is different. One size does not fit all, right? So employer side, they want to make sure that they are people, they're going to be client, they're going to be dealing with vendors. There's a mandate requirement from the other party, third party, saying that we're going to only work with the people who are vaccinated because it impacts in the bigger scale. So employers are mandated to make sure that when they hire you, when they actually have a staff, of course, they want to make sure there's a safety and the protocol and everything is involved on it. For that, they have a right to ask sometimes, right? Again, it depends on industry. It depends on what sectors you're working in. I've seen it. For example, let's say, even if I wanted to volunteer personally in the vulnerable sector, nonprofit sector, that has happened to me when I was trying to pivot. They asked me for reference. They asked me for, police report. There was an extra measure because vulnerable sectors, you have to deal with the children, seniors, disabilities and everything. I was shocked. I was like, I have not even worked there. I just want to volunteer a couple of hours and they want this, but I had to respect that. And there's always a reason for it. And it was given to me in advance, right? Had they, I was comfortable. I had to pay for it, $45 or something, but I was comfortable with it. But then in that process, I did not like it to go with that process, I could have self-selected myself out and said, you know what, I think nonprofit is not for me. I would like to pivot to different market, right? I hope that makes sense, because you got to make sure that you do the research and do what works for you. Let me see if there's anything at all here. I'm going to double check. All right. So the other point I wanted to bring it on is, let's say if you're one of those, and my clients, some of the clients are comfortable disclosing it during interview process, or even sending it on the cover letter if you want to. I respect that. I just give them options. What do you want to do, right? It depends on industries. Do again. So if you wanted to disclose that on resume, now again, how you disclose matters too, right? If you wanted to disclose it, you wanted to put yourself and take that competitive advantage. So make it easy for employers to find you and then not even ask you the questions, but it's given to them without asking. Then you could potentially put it on the resume as well. By no means I'm recommending that, but let's say if you want to take that advantage, one extra step, and the role requires for you to travel around the world, or dealing with the vendors, dealing with the majority of the clients, vulnerable sector, and if you feel like that gives you the competitive advantage and you wanted to attract the recruiters, you want to attract the employers without actually talking about the vaccinations, you can voluntarily disclose that on resume, because what happens is resume would be something that you'd be applying, and only the people who are reviewing the resume would be looking at it as well. And again, I don't want to put it out there you should do it, but the choice is yours. And what I suggested on the article that I wrote was, back in the days, we used to say references available on, upon the request. That's no longer there, but you can potentially utilize that underneath it as well, right? Able to travel, fully vaccinated, or vaccination passport available upon request as well. And things like that, the strategy, work you through it. So make it easy for them. If let's say that, they want you to be vaccinated, these are the tough conversations happening right now. Nobody knows the answer. Again, there's no right or wrong answers at all, but those people who want to just, pivot it into the different industry, and now they require the vaccinations and it's a mandatory requirement, you got to now think about it and take a step back and think, hey, is it the right industry for me? Because they want this and I'm not comfortable even talking about it. That's my personal business. That's none of their business. You got to think about it and see what's a backup plan. Maybe the role required full travel before now. And then, you're not vaccinated. You don't want to disclose that information. You don't even want to talk about it. Then probably take a look at the role which does not require travel and vaccination passport. Now, again, I'm fully talking about Canada. I'm not an expert on any other countries, but states in Canada is kind of similar, but they have their own lot of insights from state people from US when I put the poll on it. And you know what? Very passionate. And there were so much nuggets. And I was just I read through all the comments, and it was really good to hear from everybody around the world how there's no consensus, how there's no one size fits all. And it was amazing to see it. And I felt like, you know what, today is the day I'm going to talk about it. I know that people might come in my comment and say, why are you talking about this vaccination? It should not be even talked about. What are you talking about? You should go on Facebook. But you know what? I'm doing it for job seeker. I'm doing it for those people who are really concerned. I'm doing it for those people who really have no clue on it. How should I talk about it? How do I bring it up? Do I bring it up? Do I wait for them to bring it up? Like, don't ask, don't tell, it's just given until you wait. If there's a requirement, then I'm going to disclose it. But until this, I'm not going to talk about it, right? But there are a lot of people that are taking full advantage of fully disclosing. Even in LinkedIn, I think I've seen it somewhere on a headline, vaccinated. I mean, I'm not going to judge that. I'm not going to judge that. Again, you do you. And I also put it on the article, if you really are a fan of disclosing it and putting it out there, right? Then you could probably put it on the About Me sections, because recruiter potentially could scheme through that. Just say, again, fully vaccinated, ready to travel, right? Ready to be back to the work environment. So it kind of give them a clue. Also, willing to travel kind of thing, right? And on experience section as well, at the bottom, you can put whatever you want. The sky is the limit. One thing is that for those people, I'm going to say this out, okay? For those people who are saying that it's none of their business whether I'm vaccinated or not, I'm going to put it with me. How about when you post that vaccination picture, put the status, I'm fully vaccinated, and then you post the pictures and everything on social media. That's available for public. Even if you only shared with the friends, someone could have taken the screenshot, and you know what, that's an evidence for you. Anything you put it out there on a social media is public, and employers can look into it and see it. Although there's a discrimination bias, they cannot deselect you out if you're not vaccinated, unless there's a mandatory requirement within that industry or with the employers. If you have any exceptions too, right? Some people that are pregnant, they don't want to do it. But then do you go around disclosing I'm pregnant, that's why, I'm not vaccinated? There's so many nitty and gritty things when it comes to vaccination disclosure. It's really hard to say you should do it, you should not do it. And I say to people is do whatever works for you. All right. So let me see if I can pull the comments and screen share. Oh my God, it's crazy looking at it. Any questions, let me know. If you have, how about you put the comment in there and tell me if you've been asked that question before. Are you vaccinated? Were you rejected because you were not vaccinated? At what point you got rejected? Did they disclose you beforehand? Or did you have any option, right? How about you put the comments on it? Even if I can't see it right now, I can definitely go and check it out later on. Some of the media house has reached out to me after putting a poll together. They wanted me to write some article for them and my thoughts and everything. I would love to see your insight as well and take it away and understand. And maybe I can put it as an article as well. So that would help me understand what are you feeling, especially you're in Canada. If you have something like that you went through the process, you're rejected, or were you asked during interview, or did you put anything on resume? Did you talk about it, right? Send me DM as well, messages, because my messages are open. I would love to hear from you and take it from there as well, so I can understand the process you're dealing with it right now. All right. Okay. So let me see if I can share the screen. Tell me if you can see. I'm going to show you the poll. Can you see my screen? Yes. Okay, so when you're seeing my screen, so this is the poll that I was running through. If you can see it here, you can see it there, right? The poll. All right. So when I'm seeing the post, I'm going to show you the poll that I had here. Where's the poll? This is the poll. And Jack Kelly was the one who actually reached out to a bunch of career coaches and recruiters and trying to understand what are your situations, what would you suggest and whatnot. Jack, I don't know if you're watching it. I'm giving you a shout out because when you reached out to me, I was like, I don't know, it's an icky topic. Should I even talk about it? But I did. But thank you for bringing it on because it's a hot topic and I love the insights by everybody. Everybody had so much nuggets to actually look into it. Go and read the Forbes article and see where you want to be, falling under. There's no consensus, which is fantastic. There's no right or wrong answers. All right, so now here, so many people look at the poll. You see that the poll right here? So people, 17% so far, it hasn't ended yet. We still have 5 days to go. And there is so many things going on. I think it's viewed over 166,000 or something like that. Something like that. It probably would go up and it keeps on. So that's Jack right there. So here, 17% would disclose it fully. Right. And it's vague, right? The poll, I wish LinkedIn gives me more than that. I can only go up to 4. So disclose fully. And it also depends, when would you want to disclose it? Would you disclose it on a resume? Would you be comfortable disclosing that on LinkedIn? Would you be comfortable disclosing that fully out there in an interview, right? And the next one is, no way, it's too private. Yeah, it's too private for some people, 24%. Feels that right now. And then only when they ask is huge, 57%, which is general consensus between all people, which seems fair, right? And then I'm anti-vax, it impacts me. And truly, I respect that as well. For those people who have a firm belief, they really have to take a deeper dive and research and see, okay, how I can do that, backup plan, right? Because if anything, if you're in that industry and you feel like, what, you don't want to do things, but you got to do it, then you have so much to think about it as well. And it could be, it would be biases, there would be discrimination, there could be potentially lawsuit, right? So many things like that. And it's not actually formalized in Canada yet. How do they deal with that as well? And I think employers and HR has a process, documents to draft it with the legal team to put it together. So it's extremely transparent. When even the internal staffs are refusing or whatever it is, how are they going to handle this before they get lawsuit from their own internal staff? And that's huge right now, which is a good topic, right? Which is an absolutely good topic. It's going to continue, and I think it's going to explode because we have now mandate in Ontario, especially that's where I live in, that you are supposed to produce the vaccination passport. Now, question for you. I don't know in your country if you have that, but in Canada, if you were going to send your kids, I'm not talking about right now, but I was going to send my kids to school, but my kids had to be fully vaccinated, immunized fully. I'm not even talking about COVID right now, right? That was new to me. I came from a different world. I was an immigrant, right? No school asked me, hey, are you fully immunized? When I had a kid, I have 2 kids. One is teen now, right? 14 and the other is 9. It was really hard for me to digest, what's in for them? It's none of their business. But then slowly I realized, oh, it's for my safety. It's for my kids' safety. So I waited to vaccinate until I fully felt like, okay, you know what, I got to do this now. That's when I did it because I was working from home, but then I did it for my family, right? It was my choice. And I've never taken flu shot in my life. I've never done that. And my family hasn't done it. We're completely fine. Touch wood. But then I just did it because I wanted to make sure that, okay, well, you know what? And there's a stigma around the society as well. Let me tell you, there's a comment, I don't know who said it on comment. They said it, I did it because there's a pressure. I'm telling you, there's a pressure. Whenever I'm going somewhere, people are like, are you vaccinated? It's like, I don't want to meet you if you're not vaccinated. And it's like, wow, this is getting big because people are divided now, right? It's like good guy, bad guy. But then again, it's a perception. There's a bias everywhere as well. How do you handle it is by staying firm on your belief and going from there. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, so let's see if there's any comments. I can pull it. In there were some comments here. So over here, when you look at it, even I think Dorothy said something. She did the poll, and I remember her poll on Twitter, and then the audience were divided. And look at her poll as well, what people are saying as well. Yeah, so when you look at those, look at those. There are so many, comments in there. It gives you so much. If you're an employer, if you're in HR, if you're people who are going to be hiring and you're debating whether should I ask, when should I ask, like when is the right time to ask, nobody knows. Honestly, for me personally, in my opinion, I think the ball is in employers' employers' court right now. Make it very transparent on a job posting, and let the people self-select themselves out, disqualify themselves, because they can choose who they want to work with. If they're comfortable, they will go ahead and give it away to you. Don't make them go through the hoops of panel interviews, bunch of interviews, and conditional offer, and last is like, by the way, we need the proof. And it's like, what if right? What if that was a great candidate, and because of that, they're not willing to go that route? Then you are going to lose that candidate. It's employer branding as well, because it starts from the screening process. Train your HR people, train your recruiters to fully go out there and disclose that information fully, so people can deselect them out if they do not want to be disclosing that. And the other people, to recap, if you wanted to go and disclose it and use it as a competitive advantage and put your file in front of them, make it easy for both of you, then please go through it. Just the way that, you put the address sometimes on the resume, it's a privacy issue as well, right? I know, I'm going to go there. There's so many things that would put it on the resume. There might be some privacy issue as well. So you do you. If you're not comfortable, no one's forcing you for that. But again, I would love to see the insights on the polls that I've done. Go into the last poll that I've done. I would pull some insights, and that would help me understand as well, to coach my client as well. And there are a lot of clients who are really thinking of pivoting it, changing the career, and that this new vaccination rule in Canada, passport and everything, they might be rethinking twice. Well, it's not probably right for me, because I don't want to be part of that, right? All right, with that being said, give me a feedback, give me some insights, send me a DM. I would love to look into that for you as well. But thank you so much for watching today. And with that being said, I'd like to close this up. Today, I'm going to be in live with someone else, Andy Foot. I don't know, Andy, you're watching or not. We're playing games today. Andy Foot, so shout out for him. We're going to be playing the LinkedIn games. I'm going to be live with him around 1 Eastern Standard Time. I'll put it on my story. Check it out and watch us, playing amazing games out there. Thank you so much. And if you want to subscribe to the YouTube channel, go ahead and subscribe it. I am a career consultant in Canada. I normally deal with the newcomers in Canada who are dealing with no Canadian experience. You left your home, not your brain. Also, I deal with the people who got laid off, and ageism is a big issue. Are you overqualified? Are you hearing you're overqualified, but you're not? Are you feeling that age? I felt it. I felt it when I got laid off. All right. I was an immigrant, newcomer to Canada. I felt that as well. No Canadian experience as well. And you want to switch because you want to be celebrated going somewhere, whether it's money, work-life balance, or whatever it is. I can help you with that. There's the appointment calendar, teachingdo.com appointment. Let's talk and see how we can work together. We're the right fit, fully customized one-to-one based on your industry. It's like a boutique service I offer. Let's talk and see if you and I can work together, and I can help you bounce back. New career in Canada, dream job. You want to switch? You don't want to stay somewhere you're tolerated. Let's move you out. Let's move you out from there to go where you're celebrated. Also, age is just a number. It's in your mindset. Let me help you bounce back. Take care. Bye-bye.